Support WrestleTalk!
It's Survivor Series War Games this weekend, and we are here to predict the card. I'm Chopper Peak Vanel. I'm joined by Tempest, who's not your Jam That Champion anymore.
I'm Tempest, your Jam That Champion. Jam That Champion. Jam That Champion.
It doesn't tap anymore, mate.
No.
You do the doot.
I sit here, half the that bitch I used to be.
You're just that.
Predictions.
Predictions time for Survivor Series. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe because we do daily wrestling news videos. We'll also be doing a full review of Survivor Series War Games as well, and we'll have an extra news video this Sunday as well, so subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. It helps us out, and you get more videos. Win-win. So, let's get into the first match that we're going to talk about on this card, which is the Women's War Games match. One of the two on this show. Which is Damage Control of Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai, Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, the newly renamed Mia Yim, Michin, Asuka, and a very mysterious, very evil tag team partner.
It's Danhausen?
It's Danhausen, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how he like hops around in companies and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of wild that it's going to be Danhausen in this match.
I'm here for it, honestly.
Yeah, be the first intergender War Games match featuring Danhausen. Sounds great. But yes, a mystery partner in this match as well. So, first things first, who do you think this mystery partner is going to be on the babyface side?
I've heard reports of who it could possibly be, but I've been beating the drum that I think Candice LeRae is going to compete in this match. I'm going to go with Candice LeRae. It's
fair.
not worth points, thankfully.
No, it's
Otherwise, I might go with a little bit more of a concrete answer. But I think Candice LeRae is someone who has experience in war games. They obviously have wanted people in these matches who have been in them before. I think helps a little bit, just in terms of like pacing and making sure that the matches are as good as they can be. And I think Candice LeRae is one of the best women's wrestlers they have on the roster. So I think that checks a lot of boxes. And I love Candice LeRae. I'd like to see her in this match.
I think if we go off the reports, there was a report from Fightful Select that we might be looking at a situation where Becky Lynch might be coming back after she suffered a separated shoulder at SummerSlam in a match against Bianca. But after the match, they kind of aligned and then had the stare down with the newly debuted Damage Control at that show. So her joining Belair in this match would actually make a lot of sense, going against Damage Control as well. There's a lot of like, it would make sense if Becky Lynch came back, but apparently we're going to be finding that out on SmackDown. We're going to find out who the person is, so I'm excited. But regardless of who their mystery partner is, who do you have for this match?
I think this could be a very good chance for them to set up the next challenger for Bianca Belair, and thus I think the heel team is winning.
That honestly sounds like a very good booking choice, I think. I mean, they have history of doing that. They had Raquel Gonzalez, now Raquel Rodriguez, pinned
Io
Io?
Shirai.
It was Io, in War Games to set her up as a future challenger for her and kind of foreshadow that that's the direction they were going. So they could do something similar here with like Rhea Ripley gets the win on like pins Bianca in the match kind of thing to like set that up down the line. I could also see though, if we do have a returning Becky Lynch, just the feel-good moment of being like, baby faces, Becky Lynch is back, yay, everybody's happy. Especially in contrast with what might happen in the other War Games match later.
I think that is the biggest factor in all of this for me is I'm basing this prediction off of what I think might happen in the other War Games match. And I think they're going to have the baby faces, spoiler for the predictions, I think the baby faces might win the men's one, and thus the heels can win this one. That's not based on anything, and I could have that totally swapped, totally backwards.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If I'm putting my flag in the ground with a prediction, I think the heels win this one.
I'm going to go with the babyface team on this one.
Ooh,
I
fun.
think Team Bianca's going to win this one. I think primarily for that babyface moment, I could see this match like opening the show. And
I would almost expect it,
And
honestly.
I would think they might want to kick off the show with the big like, yay moment. And like, hey, we're excited for the rest of the show. Babyfaces have won. So yeah, I think babyface team wins this one.
Very spicy.
Very spicy. The next match after that is going to be AJ Styles versus Finn Balor.
5 years after their match at TLC 2017.
Yeah, which was last minute and awesome. I am quite excited for this match because I'm really hoping that they get the chance to do like the full AJ Styles Finn Balor match that we know they can do. Even like, you know, they're not as young as they used to be, but they're both still great wrestlers.
None of us are.
None of us are. They're still great wrestlers, and they can put on a phenomenal match, pun intended. But I don't know who's winning out of them, because I feel like both of them kind of need a win, you know, at this point, because Judgment Day, while since Triple H has taken over, they've kind of been built up to be a much more big deal on Raw. They do now feel a little bit cool, whereas they definitely didn't before. There's still elements of them not being quite as winning as they should be. So having like a big win over AJ could totally make sense for a Balor win here, but equally AJ could also do with a big win at the same time.
Yep.
So I don't know who's going to win this one. I think I'm gonna go for Finn Balor because I think Triple H really likes Judgment Day, and I think with the combination of Balor and maybe, I know I predicted the babyfaces, but potentially Ripley getting a big win in War Games, well, it could be a big thing for Judgment Day.
I think you might be right there. I have been burned with Judgment Day predictions so many times.
Yeah.
And the last time I predicted them to win at Crown Jewel, and then they did. So, if we're going on they kind of been trading wins and losses over the last little bit, and then just to make these predictions a little bit spicier, I think I'm going to go with AJ Styles.
It's totally possible. The next match on this card is Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I don't think we need to talk about this match for too long.
Why?
Because it kind of came out of nowhere, and they haven't really built up Shotzi all that much. So, Ronda's going to retain.
She sure is.
That's my prediction.
Yeah. I think of the matches that we're going to have differing opinions on, this one's not going to be one of them.
This is not one of them. No.
I mean, we saw on SmackDown this week. Maybe you didn't because time off in it. But she pinned Shayna Baszler on that show.
Yeah.
And even still, I was like, I know you got to give her wins, but come on now. Why you got to do it this way?
This is why I said when the match got announced of Shotzi versus Shayna, I was like, I'm all for old school Shayna, but I really hope she doesn't just become the person that people beat before they face Ronda.
Yeah.
That would be a bit anticlimactic for her, I think.
Little bit.
After that, we have the US Championship triple threat match of Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory. Now, this comes off the back of, one, Austin Theory failing to cash in Money in the Bank on the US title, then being rehabilitated the week after. Bobby Lashley took a little detour via Brock Lesnar and has now come back to the US title.
It was a filler arc. It was a
filler
Saudi
arc.
Arabia filler arc.
Precisely. And Seth Rollins has just been laughing and having a good time as the US champ.
As he's one to do.
As he's one to do. Who have you got in this match?
I have no idea.
Me neither.
Absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
Because it's the US title. If you want to have a title change on a show like this seems like the match to do it in. I don't like...
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who is the US champion. Maybe in some worldview, you could want to have that title on Seth Rollins just because he is sort of the de facto top star of Raw, and thus having a belt on your top star and having him able to go out there and have open challenge or just regular title matches will help the show in that regard. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter that much. This could be a way to give a little bit back to Austin Theory after they very much didn't want him to be Money in the Bank and have that just looming around and complicating matters otherwise. So, I don't know, Pete. What do you think's gonna happen?
I think it would be weird to give the title to Austin Theory after he failed the cash-in, because you could have just had it succeed. And I know you could make the argument of character development, you know, he fails and he gets knocked down to be built up again, but I think him actually losing here does more for the continued downturn of Austin Theory to continue to then be built back up again. You know, like he technically didn't win over Ziggler. Like he did a DQ because he beat him up too much. So I would think that he would continue this character of being like, what's happening with my life? And he continues that by not winning here to then come back stronger afterwards. And I think Seth Rollins is going to retain.
I think the Seth Rollins prediction is probably the most likely, just because, you know, safest option and all that.
Yeah.
I think, just for the sake of, again, making this spicier, I think I'm going to say Austin Theory will win this. I think it might be a case, because I think you're totally right in terms of the character development and everything. I think what they've done on Raw with him since the cash-in failure was very good, very much needed for him. I've seen a lot of people very accurately talking about how he is a character that was sort of like the embodiment of the Vince McMahon era.
Yeah.
At least that's how it was portrayed on TV. Like Kevin Owens said, you know, all the things that he said very shortly after the regime change and everything. And it's been a process of just knocking Theory down a peg and tearing down this last vestige of the Vince McMahon era to then be built back up. Like Triple H obviously still likes Austin Theory. He's one of his kids from NXT and all that. So I think seeing something that is good and works, I would not be surprised if that was then immediately rewarded with something.
Yeah.
I'm just justifying it in my own mind. I think Austin Theory might be US champion again.
He very well might. But now we have the only other match that's been announced so far for the show, which I assume will be the main event. We have the men's War Games match of the Bloodline, the full Bloodline, versus the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Butch, and Ridge Holland, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens.
Yay.
And he was a big question mark for a while because he had the sprained MCL and he was potentially injured and out of the match, but he is in it, and I'm so happy that he's in it because it makes this match infinitely more interesting to me. The dynamic between him and Sami Zayn, I can't wait, and I'm sure both of us, because we're doing the live reactions, as I mentioned, I can't wait for that moment where one of them's in one ring.
Yep.
And one of them's in the other ring, and everyone else is down, and they just turn and they look at each other, and they stand, and the crowd goes, oh, and me and you are going to go, oh,
it's happening!
It's happening! And I just can't wait for that moment in particular. How it actually plays out in the match, how it affects the result of the match, I don't know. This can go so many ways, because you can totally have the Bloodline win here.
Yep.
You can totally just assert their dominance. You can have Sami Zayn beat up Kevin Owens, and that's the thing, like, Kevin Owens, like, hesitates to beat up Sami Zayn, and that costs him. It takes that moment for Roman Reigns to hit him with a spear or something like that, and then he wins. You can have loads of different aspects of so many... This is one of the things we've spoken about with the Bloodline so much, is you have so many characters in this, and so much development in their layers of their characters, that you have so many possible interactions with so many different people, that you can have so many different stories coming out of this. I don't know who to predict. I'm lost here. I don't know who to predict. Considering that I predicted the babyface team to win the Women's War Games match, I'm going to say that the Bloodline will win this match here.
Ooh, these are going to be some fun predictions on this night.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to predict that the babyface team are going to win this match.
Okay.
Because I think that you can get a lot more mileage out of this match if either Sami Zayn or Jey Uso loses the match for the team. Doesn't necessarily have to be the one to get pinned or submitted or whatever, but be the reason that they lose. Be the cause for more tension in the weeks to come. Because I think, on the other side here, there are 3 totally viable challengers for Roman Reigns over the next few months. I think the babyface team wins this one. I think this is a great way to set up a challenger for Roman Reigns in the immediate future and do enough interplay between different things that you can set up the future challengers between now and Mania. And again, like, with the prediction side of things aside, I'm so excited for this match.
So the last bit we got to do before we get out of here is say what our Joker picks are. Considering you're the most recent champion, I guess I'll let you go first.
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, that checks out. That was going to be mine, because, you know, that's the obvious one. And, that's worth 2 points, but it's a title match. Oh, you There's only one title match. There's one other title match on the show, which will be worth the 4 if I go for it. And considering that you've done a title match, Joker, I kind of have to.
I mean, you don't have to. Our predictions are so different that even if I get that might be like my only correct prediction.
Yeah, but fun though, innit? So I'm gonna go with my Joker is Seth Rollins.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Bit of fun, innit?
Indeed. Yes.
Bit of fun. Well, that is going to do it for our predictions. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. We're going to be having an edited review of Survivor Series War Games this coming Sunday, and an extra news video on Sunday as well. Loads of bonus content, and let us know your predictions in the comments as well. I've been Chubba Pete Cornell. I've been joined by Tempest. Jam that jam.